What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the latest video game news, industry topics, exclusive reveals, and reviews. I'm your host, Alex Van Aken. Join me each week for a chat about your favorite games, past and present, alongside Game Informer staff, developers, and special guests from around the industry. This week, I am joined by Blake Hester. Hello, Blake.
Hello. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm chilling.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. We are also joined by Jill Grodt. Hello, Jill.
I need to be called by my official title, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Indie Informer.
Thank
Jill
you so
Grodt,
much.
hello.
Great to be here.
And of course, well, not of course, because this is going to be a surprise, I think, for a lot of people who aren't on Twitter. But he couldn't stay away from the smell of his bone, his dog food. The news hound himself, Wesley LeBlanc, has rejoined Game Informer and is here today with us on his first ever episode during his second stint at Game Informer, a week after his first one ended. Obviously playing this up as a joke, I am, but it's very serious and like not cool what happened to him. But Wes, you're back, and we're gonna get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Because
Happy to be here.
Can I share my title for him?
Yes, please
and
do.
I hope he's called this for the rest of time.
Yeah, please do.
Please welcome to the show, the once and future informer.
Oh my
Wesley
God.
That is so good. I require that now if I'm on this show.
The news hound, the once and future informer, Wesley LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Man, this is gonna be a weird show, y'all. It's gonna be a bittersweet show. We've got more internal news. We've got a big announcement. The show is now audio only. There is only one video editor on the team now. We aren't backfilling Stadnik's position for the time being, and I want to be able to work on things that I want to work on, and I need to free up bandwidth where I can, since I'm the only video editor on staff. So I made the executive decision, approved by Reiner, to turn this thing into audio only going forward. Now, does that mean that, there will never be a video version of the podcast? Not necessarily. I think around big industry events, if we're in the same room together, it'd be fun to have a video version. I think if we ever get a studio, I'd want to pursue that again. But for the time being, working from home, having only one video editor, this is what we're doing. And I think it's going to free up a lot of time for me to pursue exciting things on the video page, as well as, we're going to be working with a freelance podcast editor soon. They'll be announced once everything has gone through on the back end. But yeah, it's a little weird being in the hosting spot with Stadnik being gone. He's actually on the road to California right now. Still hasn't announced where he's going, so we'll talk about that sometime in the future. But yeah, again, if you want to follow him, keep up with him, make sure to go follow him at Stadnik76. He's been a huge part of the show for so long. Even before he was host, he was, producing the show alongside former hosts. Yeah, so go give Alex some love. Tell him we miss him. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for, I guess, another new era of the Game Informer show, I'm all ears. I do have podcasting experience. I actually ran a podcast for about 5 years with my stepdad and friends before joining Game Informer. So I've got, I can talk a little bit sometimes, So I'll be host for now, for the foreseeable future. I think it was the natural step. I was co-hosting with Alex for so long. I just thought, hey, I'm already a familiar voice. I'll just keep doing it. And, the format's going to stay the same for now. I was part of coming up with our current format with Alex, and I like it. It's effective. Still going to have, Game Informer editors on, special guests, all that. You're just going to have a new voice, I guess, for the host. So it's going to be a little weird at first, but I hope you all, give me your grace, give me your patience as we figure out what this new podcast sounds like. But yeah, we'll still be here every Thursday. Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts we recently fixed. There was an issue on our back end that was causing episodes not to spawn there for some reason. So if you've had any issues about, RSS feeds, let me know. You can follow me at It's Van Aken or email me at alexvanaken@gameinformer.com with any issues, suggestions, whatever, as long as they're constructive. But yeah, I don't want to hold up the rest of the show, but we've got some more major internal news regarding Game Informer. Of course, last week we talked about the layoffs and just the sadness that the Game Informer family was feeling for the loss of John Carson, Jeff Ackervick, our creative director of 14 years, Wesley LeBlanc, and also Alex was leaving on top of that. So I think this episode should be the last of the general I will
Fallout?
say the fallout of the decision that was made by our parent company to lay off Game Informer staff. I think this is still part of that fallout, or I know it is. And I think this will be the last for now. But let's get into what's going on. Jill, do you want to share your news with everybody?
Hi everyone. So luckily we started with the good news, that
Yeah.
Wes is coming back, and that is so exciting and thrilling, and I am so ready to see what he's done. He's already doing amazing things, and he's killing it, and I knew he would. But I, in sort of response to the layoffs, have decided to leave Game Informer. And
Mm,
that's a weird statement because that's not something that I ever thought I would be saying, and especially a couple of weeks ago, I could have never imagined it.
yeah.
But it's it is I love Game Informer, and I don't want my time at Game Informer to be tinged with resentment or anger or any sort of negative feelings. I have loved working here. I've loved n- not only doing some amazing and wild things, but also just the people and the energy in the virtual office. And
Yeah.
I've loved working with everybody. And I'm still 100% here to support all of you. And I know you're going to do absolutely wonderful things. Um, and just thankfully, my leaving could enable something good to come out of all of this. So I'm very grateful for that. And I hope everybody continues to prop up some indies while I'm gone and don't lose those. And obviously at the end of the year I'm keeping a big eye on the top tens. So that is my news.
Really sad news, Jill. We're I mean, I can't understate like how much I'm gonna miss you personally. I count you as a lifelong friend through all this, you know. You are one of those people, when you see coworkers leave, you kind of know in the back of your head like, we're probably not going to keep up, are we? And when I think of you, I think of genuinely a person that, want to maintain a relationship with. I like honestly, I look to you as a longtime friend. I think you were a crucial part in, I would say, reinventing Game Informer. I feel like the last 2 years, with all the new hires, we have injected some new blood and some new life into a company that was, um, I feel like, surviving after the first round of layoffs in 2019. And I think, from anecdotally, I've heard just, how bad it was here, and how people like you who come in with like this positive, fresh spirit, and excitement about their job and games, just really, from what I have understood, and from my perspective, that has helped to, renew Game Informer and, help drive forward this new vision. You helped, you're pivotal to, the magazine. I'll let Blake speak because he's the one who worked with you the closest. But just from my perspective, I know we didn't work with each other every day, but we worked with each other pretty often. And you're just like such a funny person. I love that if I was going to, oh, I got to do time steps on my own now. If I was going to talk shit to you, um, like you would give it right back. And when I didn't know you, I wasn't sure like how that relationship would go. Like I was kind of like not walking on eggshells, but like when when you're meeting somebody, you kind of have to feel out the relationship. And I remember early on, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I made a joke that was a dumb joke, and you gave it right back to me. And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! Like we have this like chemistry, this friendship." And it's been great to kind of continue to develop that throughout the last year. And yeah, it's just honestly been a privilege to work with you, Jill. I think everything you touched, you made better, and it was also just great to learn from you. You taught me a lot about writing and You gave great edits when I occasionally would, write something for the website or magazine. You're just always there to lend a helping hand. I think you're brilliant. I loved your ideas for stories and your hunt for like those indie gems. I mean, you did a lot more than just that, but I really do think you developed like that side of Game Informer in a way. I think we call you the indie informer on the show because like you are always great about, you are a tastemaker in a marketplace that is so saturated. And you're just really attentive and just a great person to work with. And I can't say enough good things about you. And I'm really gonna miss you. But I'll toss it over to Blake real quick if that's okay, Blake.
What's up, Jill? What can you say? My God, my partner in crime on the magazine team. The underdogs under the tyrants above us. Matt Miller, a tyrant. I'm just kidding. Or am I? No, Jill. Like, what was funny? I was familiar with you through your time on MinMax before joining, but I will admit not super familiar with your written work before you joined Game Informer. You were someone I really enjoyed on the MinMax show. And I remember when our first issue meeting you were ever in, you had your idea to talk to indie developers, not about like their game or whatever. Well, I guess kind of about their game, but the kind of the pitfalls and the less glamorous parts of being an indie developer. You talked to the Tunic team and Stardew Valley team.
Red Hook.
Right. Anyway.
And Valheim as well. For that
okay.
one.
Yeah, I remember you pitching that idea and it being out the gate so strong and just being like, not surprised isn't the right word, like very impressed that like you were hitting the ground running that hard. Because I remember when I started at Game Informer, I pitched like the most softball shit ever. I was like, whatever, I'm too scared. And Jill, you showed fearlessness in your writing, is what I would say. You like from the jump were always going the extra mile, pitching ideas that were better than everyone else's. I remember early on being a little jealous of how good your ideas were, and I feel like that made me want to, try to match your caliber, which I don't think I ever did, to be quite honest. But I'm gonna miss you a lot. I knew I couldn't, if you were editing a piece of mine, I couldn't slip things by you. Occasionally you kind of try to phone it in on a paragraph or two, and if Jill's like, I'm jumping on this pass, I'm like, well, crap. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just,
I
knew.
certainly never ever came to you and lovingly and respectfully cursed at you.
Right. But the point being, you always knocked it out of the park with whatever you did, writing, editing, just being a pleasant coworker. I remember here's a fun fact about Jill as a person. When we were going through Summer Games Fest, which was a busy time. I assume you did this to more people than just me. I don't know. But Jill sent me a message on Slack, not asking for help with anything, not asking me to work on anything, just to say, Blake, I hope you're doing all right now. It's very busy, and I hope you're holding up. And I just remember that being, I was very stressed out, and that made me feel so good. So you're going to be sorely missed, Jill. But as your coworker, I've had nothing but respect for you. And as now your former coworker, I have nothing but respect for you, just like being like, no, I'm not putting up with it. I want to remember this place is a good place. It's time for me to back out. I think that's shows incredible strength and is very, very commendable. And whatever you're doing next, it sounds way cooler than what I'm doing right now. So I will continue to be jealous and in awe of you forever.
Yeah, and to that point, Jill, you mentioned it yourself, but you don't really have anything lined up right now. You're kind of like, as you said, you want to preserve your memory of Game Informer, and so you're stepping away in response to the layoffs, right?
Yes, that's correct. I don't have any plans at the moment. I am sort of taking a moment to catch my breath and look over things, and then I'll step back and see, what options are happening. But I am certainly not disappearing. I am not going anywhere. My love of indies is never going to end. So hopefully I can jump back on if Van Aken allows me, and
Of course,
kind of rave about I'm rave about whatever my latest obsession is. But yeah, I hope to be around soon. So keep an eye out for me.
Absolutely. These always feel like we're eulogizing someone, but like
Yeah.
Jill's alive. We should not like
Yeah, I promise.
we're not like euthanizing her when she leaves Game Informer. Like she's still gonna be around.
Jeez.
But like the point is, at least for me on the magazine team, which is not to discredit Wes, who I'm very excited to work closer with. To be honest, before all this happened, I was trying to poach Wes for the magazine team. But you know, like as someone who worked with you every day, Jill, like it's definitely going to I don't want to say impact negatively, but it's where I'm going to fill your absence on a day-to-day basis. But you know, that is quickly replaced by happiness for what you're doing next, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can think of several outlets that are in San Francisco that would be incredibly lucky to pick up Jill, should Jill want to work there. So I think you're gonna be just fine, Jill. I really respect you for your decision, and I hope you do get to have like a season of rest, however long it may be. You've definitely earned it. So, well, with that, we'll kick it over to Wes real quick.
Yeah, with Jill, she got hired a few months before me, and I was on the online side, she was on the magazine side, so we didn't get to work together too much. So really, like, my relationship with Jill, other than like friends and coworkers, was kind of just like being a fan of her work and reading it when it came out in the magazine or online, or appreciating her edits that she would give me when she helped out the online team. The piece Blake was alluding to, the Aftermath of Success, I think it was called. Yeah, that's
Right
still
on.
like just such a fantastic piece. And the thing I've always admired about your work is that the way the industry covers AAA gaming, you do for indies. And I think that's like so important because indies deserve as much time and attention as AAA games. And you're like the leading indie coverage person out there. I think any outlet should absolutely pick you up and just give you a whole indie vertical section, something to continue doing what you do. And you have your love of indies, especially Tunic. And I still need to play that, by the way, which I have it downloaded this week. I'm gonna make it happen. But yeah, I think any outlet, if you would be happy to have you, and your voice here and your excitement and enthusiasm for games is going to be sorely missed here at Game Informer. And yeah, I completely respect and understand and admire your decision, and much in the same way that you're kind of leaving now so that you don't really tarnish your feelings on Game Informer. Like for me personally, like in a weird way, you've kind of restored my like feelings on Game Informer. I left 2 weeks ago on an incredibly bad note, obviously, and your extremely admirable act is now kind of bringing back the light I once had for Game Informer, and that truly means the world. And it's such a bittersweet and sad thing, but like, thank you. Like you brought a like, I was in a very not great space. It was a tough time, and in a weird roundabout way, your decision kind of brought me back up. And so we'll always have this strange, bizarre turn of events connection between each other. And I'm so excited to see wherever you go next, whatever you do next, I will be a fan.
Yeah. Jill, I mean, I know we plug your Twitter every week at FINRUIN at FinRuin, but is that the place for people to keep up with you? Is there somewhere else you want people to go to follow your work?
No. That is 100% the place. I don't keep up
Okay.
with social media to too much degree for mental health. But if I'm doing anything, I will be sure to let people know at, like you said, at FINRUIN.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to get back into the main part of the show. Topic of the week. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Topic of the week this week is our Stray review discussion. It is the game about being a cat, published by Annapurna Interactive, developed by Blue 12. It is a short adventure game. You play as a cat in a walled-off city from the surface, and you are trying to reunite with your cat friends and helping out some robot citizens along the way. It's a really neat game. I've really enjoyed playing it. But we've got Blake here who actually reviewed it for us. He scored it an 8. He really liked it, it seems. Blake, let's talk about Stray. How you feeling?
I mean, it's kind of like you said. You play as a cat in a walled-off city. You hang out with robots. It's really cool. This is a game I had been interested in for 7 years. Well, how long ago is 2016?
Has it been that long? Yeah.
Whenever it first showed up in Kill Screen magazine or on their website, God rest their soul. That's when I started being excited for it. Every now and then this game would like show up in a GIF and be like, what the hell is this little cat game? And it was like, that's one of those games you see, one of those games where it's like, man, that looks great. That's definitely never coming out. And then lo and behold, it actually came out. And it's awesome. Like I kind of feel the same way about Neon White as I did for this game. Obviously, I liked Neon White quite a bit more, scored it higher. But like in terms of what I wanted from a game I was looking forward to for this long, just delivered. It's just a fun little cat simulator. I have not played all of Annapurna's games. I find their shtick to be a little rote at this point. So I don't know if other games match Strays in production quality under their umbrella, but as far as the Annapurna,
I'm not sure they do.
As far as the Annapurna games I've played, right, this feels like the most production heavy game, and it's rock solid, gorgeous. Like it is just so fun to look at the world. And then I think, because you're playing as a cat, it very cleverly implements kitty stuff into the game. Like you kind of have to, not as much as I would have liked, but to a successful degree, you kind of have to rethink your approach to like playing a video game. Because, for example, in any other video game, you would walk up to a door, maybe it's like, or a gate that's gated off. And you're like, well, I can't get through that. And this one, there's nothing to it. You're a cat. You just keep walking through. And that's a very minute, not very interesting example, but for lack of a better one popping into my brain right now. It's just a small way where you're like, oh, yeah, of course I keep going through this tiny opening. It doesn't matter. Or like, a ledge you never would look twice at in another video game because it's like, why would I be able to walk on a windowsill is the critical path in this game. I wish there was more of that. I wish it was a little deeper. But like the fact it exists at all and made me rethink about gameplay because I'm this like very agile, tiny character, like is just awesome. It definitely slips when it wants to be more video gamey. There are like quote unquote combat sections or stealth sections that are pretty not great. But like when it's just like you're a cat in a city, be a cat in a city, I'm like, damn, it feels good to be a cat in a city.
Yeah, I think its strong suit is like the aspect of gameplay that's associated with like pathfinding. And it's not necessarily hard, but it's just like, okay, I've got to get up to that big neon sign up there. There's a dude I got to talk to. How do I do that? Where do I go? And it's none of it's like that challenging, I would say. Like you're pressing X at there are button prompts to jump from ledge to ledge. Like you aren't. It's not like Mario. It's not a platformer, I would say, really, in the true sense where you can jump off of a ledge and die, and like you have to have, skill to jump from platform to platform. It is more of like, carving that path. And there's a moment early on in the game that it's kind of like, it seems like that moment that you had with the going through the grates and the gate. My moment was early on in the game. There is a barrel, and I kept jumping on top of the barrel, and it's an open-faced barrel, and I'm trying to jump where I clearly need to jump on top of like this little, umbrella of sorts that's, too far away for me to jump to. So I'm sitting there for like what's had to have been way too long for, it was like, this should not be this challenging. And I'm just sitting there racking my brain, like, how do I get up there? And then at one point I was just like casually started walking into the barrel, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a cat. I can go inside of the barrel. And then it just clicked in my brain, and I start running in the barrel like a hamster ball, moving the barrel where I needed to go. And I'm like, of course, I'm a cat. I could fit in here. I can move it that way. Like there's just like a part of your brain, like a switch in your brain you have to flip when you're playing this game. And it's not challenging per se. I think all of the puzzles and stuff are pretty straightforward, but they all feel really great, and they all, at least the ones I've encountered. I haven't played the whole game yet. But little things like, oh, I need to get through this window. Oh, there's a paint can here. What would a cat do? A cat would knock it off the ledge, right? And that might open up a new path for me.
Yeah.
Stuff like that it's just really fun and light. I feel like, despite being in this walled off, super dark, moody city, it's one of those games that I just relax to now. And I've played through the first hour twice because I got a PS5 review code, and then I added it to my Steam library yesterday when it launched. And yeah, it's been great. I've been having a really good time with it.
It's a charming little game. I feel like that's all you need to say about it. It's charming. It's clever for the most part. Which, what more could you want?
I'm super excited to get started on it. I have it downloaded, but one of the things I really appreciate about this game so far, even though I haven't played it, is just the amount of clips and videos and little things that I've seen of people's pets reacting to the cat. And I do have a cat, so I'm very excited to see whether or not my cat will start meowing as the cats meow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just seen cats just freaking out that there are other cats in the house, but also dogs like trying to chase it and like breaking people's TVs. So if that's a concern, like maybe keep an eye on your dog while you're playing this game.
Yeah, the freaking moment I booted this game up, Reagan, who's that clump of blanket right there, I just heard her growling behind me, and I was like, oh, wow, all right.
I've realized that I have no emotional capacity for humans in video games. Like, you could have like I have no reaction, I will say, to like things that happen to people in video games if they're humans. Like, I'm just like, okay, it's a video game. Yep, they got hurt. That sucks. I'm never the guy who's like crying over a video game. But the second you put an animal, a cat specifically, in the slightest of harm's way, I'm just like melting. I'm like, what? Who am I right now? Like, early on, the cat like falls, and it's like, it gets scuffed up a little, and you're like, oh my God, like inside I'm like on the verge of tearing up, and I'm like, what is happening here? It literally just fell off a ledge. It's fine. But it's a weird thing playing this game. Weird experience. Wes, have you checked this out yet?
No, I have it downloaded, but I just haven't. I mean, it's only been a day, so I haven't managed to play it yet. And I've kind of been disconnected from all things gaming given the past few weeks, so I haven't read any reviews or anything yet, but I will read yours soon, Blake. But like,
better.
I will. I wonder with like, with it being a cat and it being like a cyberpunk city, maybe dystopian. I don't know. Like, is this just like a cute cat game, or is there something deeper going on here? Or
there certainly is. It's exploring, what it means to be alive, what it means to be a human. The ship of Theseus is referenced, and it's all pretty subsurface stuff, but like effective in the way most of those things are. But like there is like a deeper thing than just like you're a cat up to some mischief. Like you definitely like spend time talking to the citizens of the city, which are all androids, and kind of unpacking the the uncanny valley of seemingly being a inorganic object that has gained sentience. Not the cat. The cat's just a cat. So there's like deeper stuff going on there for sure, but it's fine.
So the cat is not sentient beyond.
No,
I mean, it's real smart.
They like kind of. So you have like a little buddy with you, a little robot named B12, who acts as your translator. They never really explain this, which is fine. I don't know why they would explain it. It would be stupid if they did. But like, so the people in the world basically talk to B12, who translates what they're saying to you. And there's actually a funny moment where it took me a while to realize, because, sorry, I guess spoilers, B12 just isn't there for a moment. No one was talking to me anymore, and I was like, this is weird. Where's the interaction? And I was like, oh, it's gone. So there's stuff like that, but the cat's just like a cat.
Cute cat.
Okay. I actually I think I like the idea of people trauma dumping or asking this cat to do things or all these deep themes going on, and the cat's just doing what cats do, which is like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm just, yeah.
You do definitely
That's
play
awesome.
as like the smartest cat in the world, you know, able to solve like
My cat.
moderately
Yeah.
difficult video game puzzles. Like, you're a smart cat
Fair.
for sure. But you're also just chilling.
I mean, real cat, like my Wilson he can open cabinets and go inside and close them behind him. Like, I feel like he's one step away from being able to solve logic puzzles in real life. So it's not
Yeah,
that
if
far
there
removed
were-
from reality.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
Alex.
if there was some sort of treat at the end, I'm sure my cat could
I've
figure out
seen
whatever
have
he
you
could
seen the
do.
videos of like the cats that like press the button?
Push the button?
Yeah, to
Yes.
talk and communicate. There's one of a dog on TikTok where like they have been training this dog for months to use this pad, and it would be like, think of like Twister, but when you put your foot on the pad, it would emote for you, and so it would say I'm hungry or outside, whatever. And so the dog was like learning to use this thing to communicate. And there was this one video where they put a mirror in the living room, not to like mess with the dog, but the dog happened to recognize itself in the mirror, and I remember. Yeah, he saw it in the mirror and he pressed the button that said "who," and the owner was like, "That's you, sweetie. That's you." And then there's like a moment of silence, and he like looks distressed, and then he presses the button and it says "help," and I'm like, "Oh my god, you've just
Oh.
unlocked this dog's brain, and it is now
That's
self-aware of its
terrifying.
existence."
Wow. What if
But
we
anyways.
what if we used more than 3% of our brain, you know?
Wow. that's
Same
deep, man.
question.
Every time I hear that statistic, our percentage drops.
I feel like I use 2% of my brain on a good day. You know what?
I feel like I'm
but-
maxing out this bad boy.
Yeah,
up here.
as evident by that odyssey you just took us on about pets. You know what this game has though is you walk around the world and you can scratch at doors and like sleep on blankets and whatnot. And It
Yeah.
doesn't do anything for you. It's just fun, and you can walk up to a robot and press a button, and you like brush against its leg, and then its little face lights up with a heart, and you're like, that's gaming, baby. People want to talk about this God of War Ragnarok, but can I take Kratos and cuddle it him in a bunch of blankets? I bet I can't. Sony
Aw.
Santa
Does the
Monica probably
cat-
spent $400 million on that. It doesn't have a cuddle button. Get out of my fucking face.
I was playing on the DualSense since Blake took the only PC code, even though he doesn't have a Steam Deck. I was really upset about that, but it's fine.
That's such a bizarre.
Why is that bizarre?
Okay,
Man.
first and foremost, you only wanted that code so you can play it on the toilet. I'm literally reviewing
true.
the game for
That's
my
true.
job, so you'll get what you get.
That's fair. That's fair. But I did play on the DualSense, and when the cat purrs, the controller like rumbles a little, and it's real cute.
Oh, that's fun. I should have
Excited.
taken the PS5 code. Sorry about that.
No, it's no worries. No worries.
Take both of them.
Is there a couch in like a couch in the game next to items that the cat would usually scratch, but instead they scratch the catch and ruin that, making the owner a little upset?
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
There's a
That would be
lot of
ideal.
good moments
Cool.
that, as if you're a cat owner, I don't want to spoil it. I know people have talked about it on social media, but there's a moment with the cat harness that's really funny.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, this is so good, and I wonder if those moments are lost on people that aren't cat owners and aren't familiar with like those.
I mean, I
know.
don't have
Are you
cats.
asking if Blake had the credentials to review this
I
game?
am.
I don't-
Yeah.
I don't have cats, but like I've been alive on the earth, and
That's
so
true,
I
that's true.
understand how cats operate. That common thing in the world.
Well, I mean,
so-
I was ignorant to a lot of cat stuff until I had a cat.
Is that
First time-
when,
first
when
time
you
my
play
cat-
when you play Call of Duty? Are you also like, I don't know if I have the credentials to play this?
The first time my cat walked by a wall and did like a little backflip off of it, I was like on Instagram stories like, my cat just did this, and somebody like messaged me and they said, yeah,
Like,
all
congrats, you
cats
have a
do
cat.
that, and I was like, cool, thanks.
Not all cats, man.
Yeah. Well, that's Stray. Do we have anything else we want to say before we move on?
I'm still pro dog.
Wow.
I played Stray, and I still think. Oh, we're not on camera anymore. Never mind. I'm still, unfortunately, Stray couldn't win me over. I still think dogs rule, cats drool.
Stray
Would
2.
the game have been better with a dog?
Yeah.
If they made a sequel and it was a dog, would it be
Dude,
better?
that game
A
would
9 out
be
of 10.
so funny because cats like are smart creatures and dogs are dumb as rocks. It would be so funny to play as a dog. Also, this just reminded me because cats are also a little dumb, but not dog dumb because dogs are dog dumb. But like you can put your head in a paper bag.
Yeah.
The controls completely invert because you can't see.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's
So
amazing.
funny. And then you can't take it off. You have to just like mess with it for a while until it finally shakes off your head. It's awesome. Good game.
That's amazing.
Good game.
Real good game. I like it a lot. It's given me a lot of laughter in a otherwise poopy time.
You should build Gundams.
I should. I almost. Yeah. I think I've told the story on
Don't
the show.
encourage him, Finnegan. Run.
I'll take you to Hub Hobby after we finish recording. I gotta go.
Well, I'm in Virginia right now, so
Oh yeah. Never mind.
yeah. We could FaceTime each
Show
other,
your
and I'll go to the hobby
dedication.
store here. You go to the one there. I bought like $200 worth of miniatures after Christmas with my Christmas money, and
Yeah. What'd you
and
do
was
with those
like,
the next day?
Yeah, return them. You know the story. I felt so bad. I was like, thank God it's a different employee because the amount of time he invested in me getting this sale, I wouldn't have been able to face him, honestly.
Why'd you return them?
Because I knew I was hyperfixating and I was gonna drop it in 2 weeks later, like all my other hobbies. But I kind of wish I would have just indulged,
Yeah.
and maybe I will. Maybe I should indulge in that because I think it'd be a lot. It'd be very therapeutic painting miniatures. I've actually got a couple that I didn't return, so I just need. To paint.
I don't paint mine.
Y'all, we've gone down a rabbit hole here.
We have.
I don't
we
paint-
have.
I don't
It's
even
all.
know
It's
how we got
gaming
here.
adjacent, you know.
I don't paint mine. Look. Here's this not a true rabbit hole. I gotta go to Hub Hobby because I am expensing a Gundam for work. So
Dang.
this is work related. That's right. I'm putting it on the corporate credit card. Thank you, Zach Hovland. Elliot
Is that how
Wilk,
that
shouts
works?
out.
I gotta grab dinner later and expense it.
I had to
Yeah,
ask.
I'm only here for a couple of days. What can I expense?
No, I had to ask for permission, but I will say
Aw.
after some events a couple weeks ago, I did try to get Alex Stadnik to nefariously use his corporate card to buy like $80 dinner. He didn't do it. He's a better man than me.
He didn't succumb to it.
Yeah, but I did convince someone at Game Informer to let me have $40. So
Wow. I'm excited to see you build it on stream. Twitch.tv/Game Informer.
yeah,
Blake's a streaming man now.
yeah.
But,
They're calling me the new Ludwig. Is that a
Oh, wow.
streamer?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
one?
Love that I absolutely knew you had taken that moment, and they're like, "Oh God, who's a streamer? What's a streamer name?"
Well, it took me all the ones that immediately popped to mind were people who have definitely said like slurs on camera and are still make millions of dollars a year. So I was like, hopefully Ludwig's fine.
Yeah.
Ludwig's
Yeah.
the guy that like did the like 80-hour month-long live stream, right?
I think so.
Sure.
He seems cool. I'd be.
I
friends
saw
with
him play Rust one time
Friend of the
on
show.
a server
Ludwig.
with people. Let's take a quick break. We're going to get Reiner in here talking about Live Alive and his time in Las Vegas playing Saints Row. So we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Game Informer Show. This is the playlist, the part of the show where we talk about the games that we've been playing. It's been a lot going on. We've been talking, I think the majority of us have been playing Stray, if we've been playing anything. But Reiner actually went out to Las Vegas to play Saints Row, the upcoming reboot of the popular series, of course, as well as Live Alive you've been playing. So we're gonna talk about both of them. I'd like to talk about Saints Row first, Reiner. This is a game that was on our cover. I was part of the cover story. I've played the game myself, granted, much earlier in development than you have. So I'm curious, what kind of updates we're seeing, how the game feels, all that.
Yeah, so I got to play from the beginning of the game. This is near launch version. They still have time to patch it. We live in that day and age of there will probably be a day 1 patch, day 2 patch, week,
Yeah.
1 month patch, all that stuff. But I got to play 4 hours from the beginning, and they just said, do whatever you want, basically. So, I started out with the campaign and then got to do some side activities, and just kind of the general takeaway is I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Saints Row 3. I like the goofiness and superhero aspect of 4, but I think it started to lose its way at that point. Went really silly with that DLC where you went to hell. This is back
it's hard to bring that back down after you've kind of reached that ceiling of ridiculousness.
Yeah. And this is back to 3. And what's interesting about it is it's like 3.5. That is both a good thing and a bad thing. And the good thing is it's the formula that worked the best for Saints Row, and they're picking away. They're hitting that as hard as they can. The bad aspect of that is it does still kind of feel like an old gen game. It's very ambitious in terms of scope and the amount of content there, but it's all a little rough, right? Like gunplay doesn't feel as good as you want it to be. The graphics aren't quite as sharp as you want them to be. The art design's great, don't get me wrong, but it's like the level of detail just isn't quite there in the animations and vehicles and stuff like that. But those are minor complaints. If you like Saints Row 3, I think, in my 4 hour span, I was like, yeah, I'm right back there. I'm glad I'm playing a new Saints Row in this vein. Lots of fun stuff. Got to play it co-op. So I got to
wow, awesome.
Got to see some of those hijinks where when your friend jumps in, you get a new mission that's unique to you. They don't know what you're doing, and it could be just driving oncoming traffic, which is something you do anyways because you're getting experience points for doing that. But if you do that for a certain amount of seconds, you unlock a prank that you could play on your friend.
Okay. They were hinting at this during the cover story, but wouldn't say what it was. Okay.
So I didn't get to pull off my prank, but the guy from Volition I was playing with did. And as I'm mid-battle against the swarm of enemies, a swarm of bees is all around me, like blanketing most of the screen. They're not hurting me, but they're just messing with me and messing with my my aiming and all that stuff. And he's laughing his ass off, right? But it's like we finished the battle and the swarm of bees was still on me in the cutscene. So it's got that kind of goofiness to it, that level of absurdity that almost breaks the game, but works because it's Saints Row, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I like that there's like a lack of self-seriousness there, which I guess is kind of what that series has become. How does the wingsuit feel? Because that was the wingsuit and the vehicles were the highlight for me of my time. I played for a couple days. It was the same build over and over. Probably like 2 to 3 hours of actual content, but I kept going back to the wingsuit and I kept going back to the cars because I felt like both of those were the most promising. I agree. Like I think my biggest concern is the gunplay. I thought it felt really weak, but the stuff that I really liked was, like I said, the more mobility, the traversal felt really fun to me.
Yeah, I'll start with your first question about the wingsuit. It feels great. Diving in it has the momentum you'd expect. When you're gliding, I kind of want it to be a little faster, but it feels good, right? Like you feel like you could do what you want, weave under a bridge. Like you have that kind of mobility. The cars are ridiculous. They don't make any sense physics wise because you could turn on a dime and then you could just have them kind of jump to the left or right to smash into other cars like Burnout, which is fun because you're smashing cars. But if you're if you're a gearhead, you're just gonna be like, this isn't how cars operate. But in terms of gameplay mechanics, it's fun. And then what was your last one? The last question?
Oh, it was just more of a remark rather than a question. And it sounds like you had a similar experience. The gunplay kind of being one of the weaker aspects of the game. I
really kind of dove into that for a bit. The gunplay, it has a lock-on system out of the gates. So when you kind of hover over an enemy and you pull the look down the sights, it hones in on the enemy. It frames them perfectly. And then you can kind of flick up on the analog stick very quickly to get a headshot.
Yeah.
So you can kind of move very quickly from enemies and line up headshots, and that feels really cool. But just the act of aiming doesn't have that intensity you usually have in games where you don't really feel ownership over that action. You could turn all that off in the options, but the way the game's designed is to have swarms of enemies, pockets of enemies come out almost like a shooting gallery in a lot of the battles I was in. So you want to have that. You got to take them out fast. You got to be dodge rolling and moving around and relying on this kind of aim assist to help you along. Again, I like it the other way where it's freeform and I'm lining it all up myself and I feel like a badass doing that. This is a little gimmicky and gamey, but it kind of works again because it's Saints Row, right? Like you're just bodies dropping left and right. There's all sorts of wacky stuff going on, explosions, and it all kind of fits together.
Word. That's out in August, right? Is that
end of August.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm excited to play that one. I'm looking for that game to just like allow me to turn my brain off and just run around an open world for a little while. I probably won't even finish it, but like I'm just looking forward to a game that doesn't take itself seriously and I can just have fun in. And I'm excited. The pranks seem like, I was very curious because they brought that up a couple times, but couldn't elaborate at the time. That sounds like incentive, because originally I was like, I don't know if I want to play this co-op. That's sounds like the kind of incentive that I would want. Just like, it almost reminds me of like, hear me out, Risk of Rain, and the way that that game does things that totally break the game and don't make sense, but it just lets you do it and doesn't get in its own way, and the game is better for that, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense. So I'm down for the wacky,
Yeah, that's Saints Row. It's like 1 minute, I'm a human character that's in a very dramatic moment saving a teammate. The next one I'm playing is a toilet. That's how it goes in this world. And it's kind of cool. They have their own little market kind of locked up of being this goofy open world experience. And I'm glad they're leaning into that and getting it back to kind of the basics of the series.
Awesome. Well, let's get into Live Alive then. The second game that you've been playing. You reviewed this, right? Or
I did. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I saw the talent attached, Square Enix. It's one of the creators from Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV, Takeda, I believe. And I was intrigued by that. I was like, those are two of my favorite games of all time, like hands down. That's kind of why I'm where I am today, is because of games like that on Super Nintendo. That's where the passion really kind of set in. So a game from this creator that never came stateside, that has been remastered in that HD 2D format. I was like, okay, I'm on board for this. I want to see what it's all about. I expected an RPG along those lines of those two games. That's not what this is at all. When you boot up Live Alive, there is no story. You're just dropped onto a character select screen, and you have to pick from one of 7 different lead characters, all from desperate parts of the timeline, from troglodyte in prehistory, caveman basically, to a robot wearing a baseball cap in the far future on a spaceship in deep space, trying to figure out a murder mystery there. To the prehistory era is before speech, so none of the characters can talk. It's all pantomimed and animated. This game goes all over the place. So in between these timelines, you have modern day, you have feudal Japan, you have the near future, you have all these different viewpoints that tell very different stories with quite different gameplay as well. So you don't know what you're getting when you go into each of them. And that's such a huge hook. All of them last about a chapter lasts about 30 minutes to 2 hours, your time with this character. And then, not to spoil things, but there's something that unifies them, that there's a reason why you're playing these characters that you find out later. And I don't, even that's a spoiler. Like, what happens after you beat all 7 of these chapters? I don't want to say that, because that's a great carrot to dangle in front of the player, right? Like, it's like, that's cool. Like, this game is just constantly shifting gears, and then there's going to be more, and I don't even know what that's going to be. It's simple, like an old school Super Nintendo, in terms of you're moving around the world. Sometimes it's an open world you're exploring. Sometimes it's just a small city like the Wild West. That's one of the timelines that you play. You play as someone like Clint Eastwood, a drifter, man with no name. Roll into this town. You got to save him from bandits. There's profanity in this game, which I didn't see coming.
Hell yeah.
There's a this is a bit of a spoiler, but there is a sex scene that you don't get to see, but you click through the
What?
moans and moments.
No, wow. Directed by David Jaffe.
Yeah.
I gotta play this game. I gotta play this one.
So you just don't know what to expect from it, and that's the biggest hook it has, is just how different it is. Some of the chapters are better than others. The robot in space, you're on an elevator too much, going between floors. Like, they just didn't design it that well. The Wild West, just, it all clicks. It's really fun, and you want more of that. So when that chapter ends, you're like, oh, I could use a chapter 2, 3, and 4, but you don't know what happens after you finish, the first 7. So maybe you will get that.
Yeah.
All told, it's not as long as your typical JRPG. It's about 20, 30-ish hours, depending how thorough you are in some of these worlds. But it's one of those games, I say this a lot, but it's just, I couldn't put it down just because I wanted to see what was next. And I was having fun, and it was goofy and different, and it just kind of hit at the right time for me. I really enjoyed my time with it.
First off, this game sounds awesome. Is it only? It took me also weeks to realize this was not a video game version of Kill la Kill, which I was like, damn, they made a game out of that. Can't wait to look that up. And I looked it up. I was like, this is not what I thought it was. Is it only on? Is it only on Switch?
It is. Yep.
Okay, cool.
I
Yeah,
didn't
I
even
have
go into.
questions.
There's one thing that unifies all of them in terms of gameplay, and that's combat. It's turn-based on a grid system. So
Okay.
you'll have an attack that could, a spell that
Yeah.
takes up 8 blocks. Sometimes it's just all over the place, like rain. But you got to figure out where your character should be, how to be defensive, level them up. Even though you're only with them a couple hours, every level you gain, you get serious stat boosts and then a new attack. So you might need an attack or a spell that might heal you. You might not have that if you don't level enough for a boss. So they do encourage playing thoroughly, making sure you're taking on all the enemies that you come across and exploring as much as you can. I just think it's fun. It's different. I don't know why it didn't come stateside. Maybe I'm going to be the outlier in liking it, but I think Square did a really nice job of restoring it, making it look beautiful today. It has those sprite graphics that throw you back to the Super Nintendo, but I think the worlds, the spoken dialogue, all that feels very modern. And it's just unlike anything else out there. So yeah, definitely don't sleep on this one. I think it's fantastic.
Honestly, I was going to sleep on this one. I had no interest in this until
Like lay on it in your bed. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna actually go buy the game cartridge, put it on my bed. No, and when you said the thing about the cavemen and there's no speaking, I was like, oh, this sounds cool, because most of the time JRPGs can't shut up. And so when they have an entire chapter that's pantomimed, that sounds really cool. I'm really into this. That sounds awesome.
yeah, it's I think you'll dig it. And like I said, even if you don't like one of the chapters or the scenes that you're in, it's very short, right? You're not going to spend
Yeah.
more than a couple hours in it, and then you're on to the next one, and maybe you like that one or you love it. Yeah, it's different and it's really cool. Surprising.
I'm adding it to my GG app playlist to check out. So cool. Well, thanks for talking about those games with us, Reiner. We
Yeah.
appreciate you making time for us. We're going to get on into listener questions / housekeeping. So we'll be right back right after this quick break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Game Informer Show. We are jumping into listener emails right now. You can send all your comments, concerns, rants, hopes, dreams to feedback at GameInformer.com.
Nope. Podcast
listeners?
at GameInformer.com.
There it is. Alex, take it
Podcast-
from here.
Yeah, well, actually, Blake, we're going to do housekeeping first before we get into listener emails. But
Okay, come on.
housekeeping
I
always
was
starts
doing my
off-
best.
Hey, you did great. You should host this show, man.
Yeah, so many are saying this.
We've got no new podcast review this week. Listen, I get it, Lots been going on, family vacations. Stray was coming out. I'm trying to think of other big events that happened in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Mm,
You haven't had time to leave a review. Maybe you didn't want to. I get it. But I'm here to tell you today, please, God, leave me a review. It's just me now. Alex is gone. I need to validate my skills as hosting. So even if you want to send me a 3-star, I'll take it, honestly. I would prefer 5-star on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But you got to be honest, but at least be constructive with it, okay? I don't want any of these 1-star, you've got a neck beard reviews that they send me on YouTube, okay? My peers are going to see this. So please make it a good review. And I'm going to shout you out on the next episode if you do that, because you're doing me a solid here. You're making me look cool in front of my, Alex Stadnik. He's going to be listening. He's going to be like, this man's not getting any podcast reviews now that I'm gone. But I got to prove him wrong, So please go leave a review. It really does help us out. Helps us climb the charts on Apple Podcasts, especially. So I really appreciate it. Really, really do.
Do you think your peers read the reviews?
Oh,
of other...
absolutely.
Definitely
They don't have anything
Really?
better to be
We
doing.
talk about it.
I mean, I
We
don't.
have a group,
I don't.
like a group Discord.
A
we all
Facebook
sit and
group?
read
I
them.
don't like go
Yeah.
read podcast reviews for like GameSpot's podcast.
That's why you're not in the group, Blake.
Yeah.
My mistake. My mistake.
But anyways, I do appreciate the podcast reviews. If you've got them in you, we appreciate it. It does help us out. Website features. We wanted to, and magazine. I want to spotlight some stuff you should go be reading on GameInformer.com. And in the magazine, which you can actually get a digital copy of the magazine. I just learned this last week. We've got I knew we had an app, but I didn't realize you could just subscribe in it. And so you could download the Game Informer app, get that going, the digital edition. And you can read all about the cool features. I know last mag we had the Derek Yu piece that Blake worked on. I took photographs for. It was a really cool piece. I don't know if that's necessarily my recommendation. I mean, it is a recommendation. I guess it will be my recommendation. I didn't want to take it in case that was Blake's. But he did a great job pulling that piece together. I mean, being on that trip with him, climbing caves with Derek Yu, the creator of Spelunky. I don't want to say too much because we've got more coming on that, but Blake did a great job. I really like the personal angle and I almost felt like I was reading, a chapter in a book rather than like a piece about a video game. And I really liked that.
Thank you.
It was real
Thank
cool.
you.
So good job, Blake.
And if there are any other game developers listening right now that would like to have me come put them in harm's way the way I did Derek Yu, let me know. I'm open. We went spelunking with the creator of Spelunky. Maybe Hello Games. I mean, y'all made No Man's Sky.
Let's go to space.
I'm trying to go to space.
Imagine what we could do. IO Interactive.
Oh, God.
You can go assassinate targets.
What's
Oh
up?
my gosh.
What's
We need
up?
to make this an entire long continuing thing. We'll call it like Escape Blake.
Yeah, that'd be
From
cool.
Tarkov?
Do
Go
it.
to hell with id Software.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
Tarkov.
You know what was the story I really wanted to do for a while was and then it just didn't work out with the pandemic was not too long ago someone on Twitter uploaded images of actually I say not too long ago, this was like early pandemic, uploaded images of the town or the city that Verdansk was based on.
Wow.
And it was far more one-to-one than I anticipated. Maybe not in terms of layout, but in terms of landmarks. And I was like, it would be so cool to go there. But now it's 2022. Warzone, obviously still a big deal, but not as big a deal. Also, Verdansk, I don't believe is in the game anymore. So, unfortunately, ship has probably sailed on that one. As for my recommendation, read the whole dang magazine. How can I choose one? Just go read the whole thing and buy Tyson chicken nuggets. You'll open the magazine, you'll see an ad in there for Tyson chicken nuggets. Go buy some.
Yeah.
Especially if you can click a link in there. Get you some chicken nuggies. You deserve it, folks at home.
They're dino shaped too, I think, if I
Hell
remember
yeah,
correctly.
they're dino shaped. And if you're a vegetarian or vegan, Morningstar's got you covered. Don't know if they buy ad space on our magazines though.
Mm.
All right, then.
For me, I will draw attention to the two pieces of Jill's I mentioned earlier in the show, The Aftermath of Success. It's an excellent piece about Valheim Stardew Valley and Darkest Dungeon. And Making of Tunic, of course, from the world's #1 Tunic fan. And then also, what was it? I just read it in the magazine, the Sonic one, Indie Takeover or something you wrote? Indie Invasion. Yes. Yeah.
Definite theme.
Yeah. It's a great theme. It's you do it better than everyone else. And yeah, read Jill's pieces and follow her work. That's what I say.
Can I go again real quick? I realized I shouted out chicken nuggets and not a piece.
Yeah, you should probably change that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
Jill has a piece on the Kirby series that I will be honest, I didn't know anything about Kirby before I read that, other than he's a little pink ball. And I read that piece and found it endlessly fascinating. I love pieces like that, where it's like a topic I don't really care about, and then by the end of it, I'm like fully engaged with the piece. And I remember editing that Kirby piece and being very into it. Also, did we put the pictures in it on the online version, Jill, of like Miyamoto
There's
and
the
everything?
one picture of all. Don't give away the secret.
It's not Miyamoto. I'm just kidding.
It's MiHoYo,
Yes, we do
the
have
creators
that.
of Genshin
The
Impact.
picture.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, those pictures were adorable. So go seek that out
So
because
good.
it's online now, right? I believe so.
Yes,
Okay,
it is
cool.
up online.
Word. Awesome.
Yeah.
Also, Tyson chicken nuggets.
Jill, what do
Word.
you want to plug in the magazine or website? Any last pieces you want people to go read of yours before you head out the door?
Yeah, so I feel weird because everybody's shouting out my pieces. I wasn't prepared for that. So I'm just gonna continue that trend, I
Yeah.
guess. I have. It's weird because the magazine works in such a way that you're always about 2 months ahead of time. So I have to think about what might actually be out
Yeah.
soon,
Yeah.
and what I can't talk about. I know there is one coming out in, I think might be August's issue, possibly, or is it
Mm.
July's? Whatever. You'll probably get it in August. Where I talked about E3 and sort of looked over the history of that and had some really cool conversation pieces to kind of pick apart for that one. So please keep an eye out for that. And then as sort of a last hurrah, I was really happy to be able to update the adventure list on the website.
I saw that.
We put Stray on there, linked up to Blake's brilliant review of it. So go check that out. Check out Stray.
I was looking at that list last night actually because it was on Instagram. I think Kristen posted it, and I was looking at that. I'm like, we got some good games on there. It's like it's the
that's a
top
good
adventure
list.
games to play right now, right? It's not like the definitive
Yes.
list of adventure games, but like
Of all
yeah,
time,
really
no.
good ones
It
that you
is
can play
just
right
the
now.
ones that are that are bopping around in the zeitgeist so that you can kind of be involved in what's happening with adventure games. And I'm real excited about Stray being on it.
Word. Well, awesome. Of course, go check out all of that in the Game Informer magazine. Of course, you can get that in the App Store. Go ahead and download that, or head over to GameInformer.com. We've also got Twitch streams on Thursdays and Fridays typically. I don't know if we've stuck to that schedule since the layoffs. I know we've streamed here and there. Last week we actually Alex's going away stream. He played Visage, and halfway through.
The best stream that ever existed.
Oh my
maybe?
god! Halfway through, I realized I could trigger custom sounds in his headphones from the coffee shop I was working at.
That only
He could hear, but
but
it's through, and the stream could hear it. Alex and the viewer could hear it, and we had a lot of fun with that. He was playing Visage, and just so many noises that went into his headphones that scared the hell out of him. It was a lot of fun.
I played the unseen ghost, who was just a
Yeah.
little too happy.
I think I'm gonna try to get that one up on the YouTube page. I typically don't do our
Please
stream
do.
archives
Please,
because they're
please do.
awful for our SEO health on the channel, but that one's important to put up. I think it was so much fun. But yeah, you can go and watch those streams over at twitch.tv/GameInformer. Be sure to follow us there. You can follow us with alerts so you do get notified when we go live. But typically, yeah, we do aim for Thursdays and Fridays. But maybe you'll get some bonus streams here in the future with now that Mr. Blake is set up and rear into stream. So we'll see what happens there. Head over to youtube.com/GameInformer this week. Check out the video version of our Stray review. We've got, I believe, an NGT of Saints Row that Reiner and I are talking. I think by the time you hear this, that is probably live. So go check that out. And then some very exciting, bigger features that I've been working on in the next couple of weeks going up on the page. I'm not sure how busy the page is going to be until I finish those projects, but they will be well worth watching. One of those documentaries that I talked about last week. I'm trying to have that done in the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be a multi-video series. Should be cool. So keep an eye out over on our YouTube channel. Lastly, follow us on social media. You can follow Jill, follow all of her future work and her past work at Finruin. That's FINRUIN. Follow Wes. Welcome him back to the GI family if you haven't yet. At LeBlanc Wes. That's LeBlancWes. Follow Blake at Radmuir on Twitter, and you can follow me at It's Van Aken. That'll do it for housekeeping this week. Don't forget to check out the other podcasts we have, Video Gameography, All Things Nintendo, and From Panel to Podcast. Let's get into the listener emails, which you can send us emails at podcast@GameInformer.com or by joining the Discord, which you get access to by subscribing to us on Twitch. And there is a Game Informer show channel in there. You can leave us questions, just like a bunch of people did this week. Zach E. says, now that Stadnik is gone, what's the most embarrassing story you have of him? Oh, God, I'm trying to think. There's just so many, he's...
I thought of one I wasn't even there for, but it makes me laugh every time.
What?
I don't remember what holiday it was. It was last year. It was not too long after I moved here. Maybe it was a Halloween or a New Year's. There was a party you all went to, and for whatever reason, I didn't go to it. But you and I hung out like the very next day. And, Alex, he's a grown adult. He's of age. He imbibed, and that was fun. But out of curiosity, I was like, oh, what's it like when Alex is a little drunksy? And you just looked at me and you went belligerent. And I think about that all the time. I've never seen Alex drunk, and that's the only knowledge I have.
That is very good.
Cracks me up.
That is
every
so
time.
good.
I had an important notification come up on my phone the second you started reading the question, and I completely missed the question, and I'm desperately trying to piece together what it is.
Well, good luck, because I'm not
And
telling
You
you,
just
man.
changed it to the most embarrassing West stories at this point.
I'm trying. So this is most embarrassing. Okay, this is this must be about most embarrassing Stadnik
Yes.
story then.
Yeah.
Okay, look at that. My brain's working in real time. Thanks everybody for joining me in that.
Embarrassing Stadnik stories.
I don't have an embarrassing story about Stadnik, to be honest. I didn't get to hang out with them in real life ever. Obviously, I'm in Florida and remote. And all my memories of him were just how nice and positive and helpful he was. And when things went really bad video-wise, he was always super great about helping me fix it with a smile.
Yesterday morning, me and Van Aken went to get coffee with Alex before he left. And Stadnik said something so offensive that VA and both me and VA, our first reaction was, I'm glad you're moving. So there's I can't repeat what he said, but I bet he was embarrassed to have said it in public. It was awful.
Man, I don't know.
The only thing I can really think of is there was one time we were all recording the Game Informer podcast, and we wrapped, and immediately the look on Stadnik's face just turned to like ashen white with like anger and fear at the same time. And we're like, are you okay? He's like, none of that recorded.
Oh, God.
It was the worst. And he just looked so unhappy. And I don't know if that's particularly embarrassing, but it was the one and only time I've ever seen him in that sort of emotional state.
Alex Stadnik one time called his teacher mom. Alex Stadnik one time farted in church during silent prayer.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
I can't even get through these.
The power of the Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't that... I feel like he didn't do that many embarrassing things. It's just...
Alex Stadnik once slipped on a banana peel
in front of
and
everyone.
fell into the trash.
Yeah. Alex Stadnik likes Minnesota.
Oh,
That's embarrassing.
top 5 embarrassing moments when Alex Stadnik told us that Minnesota was in the top 5 skylines of the world. Minneapolis.
Yes, I forgot
Not
about
been
that.
anywhere.
That was I've never been so ready to cut all communication with a human being. When this man, as we could see the skyline, said without irony, top 5 skyline, and he tries to backtrack it and be like, I didn't say in the world, I said in the country. He said in the world.
He said in the
Yeah.
world.
And like it might be top 30 in the United States at best. In the world, you're out of your mind, Alex Stadnik. Get out of here. We won't let him live that one down.
Top 5 embarrassing Stadnik moments: going to an Indian restaurant and him asking if the tikka masala is spicy because he's still leaning into the spice. I'm like, brother, we're in an Indian restaurant.
Hold on, to level that out, top 5 embarrassing moment for me and VA was when we went to that same Indian restaurant.
This
and
is so
accidentally
embarrassing for you.
Ate each other's food.
No, that was past week.
We both ordered 2 different things, and when they brought it out, we accepted each other's meals and ate it, and at the end was like, oh, we ate the wrong food.
No, I let you eat my food because I thought we both thought that you ordered the same thing as me. We both got the chicken curry, and
Yeah. But I got the bone.
You got the
on
goat.
Goat on bone.
yeah, the bony goat.
Goat on bone.
stew.
Yeah, the bony goat.
It was fine. I wanted what I ordered, but
I think one of the top, at the very least, one of the top 5 most embarrassing moments of Alex Stadnik's life is on that Visage stream. So please put that up as soon
All
as
5
possible.
might be on that Visage
It
stream.
might well be.
yeah, I think so. Anytime he like screamed because of a fart noise that I would trigger, I was like, this is so embarrassing for you.
Yeah.
So good.
I miss him. I miss him already. Thanks for that question, Zach. Next question comes from Rock Party in the Discord asking, with Overwatch 2 looking like Overwatch 1 minus a teammate, what are some other sequels that are hard to tell apart? Let me tell you this.
Ragnarok.
Let me tell you this, okay? I put maybe 50 hours into the Overwatch 2 beta this past stint. It's so much more than just Overwatch 1 minus a teammate. I feel like there's like this narrative going around that it's Overwatch 1.5, which to a degree is fair, but I think like people are like using that to like not even try it for themselves and like dismissing it. I think it's genuinely a better game for all of these like little minor changes. I think this is a great opportunity for them to wipe the slate clean and like fix the game, honestly, and like really refine it. And it's so much fun now. But I get it. But as to the actual question, what are some other sequels that are hard to tell apart?
God of War Ragnarok. I saw a trailer for that today, and I was like, "What? What are we doing here?"
Spelunky
Like,
1 and
come
2.
on.
Even I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think that would fall into that
Yeah.
category.
Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3.
Any of the Gears of War games, except for 4 and 5.
Hold on.
The original trilogy.
Hold on. Nah, come on now. Come on. No way.
Not necessarily
Don't
bad
come
things.
at my man Cliff. Don't come at my man Cliffy B like that.
I don't. I'm not.
Radical Heights in Fortnite 1.0.
Oh God. Yeah.
Not for actual reasons, but Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask use
sure.
the exact same assets. So
Mm.
you could say that they were very hard to tell apart, except that they were very different.
Yeah.
Most of the Yakuza games, I'll be honest.
Oh, I feel like I have not played these, but I feel like that's going to be a hot take.
Yeah, that might be.
They all take place in the same like 4x4 grid. That's the whole point of them. And you play as the same character in the exact same open world every game. So miss
Anybody
me.
leaving a review for the podcast, please go ahead and reference that.
I have dedicated hundreds of hours of my life to playing those games and have spoken at length about how much I love them. But come on, we cannot act like we can tell every single one apart from a brief look. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the Outer Worlds and the Outer Wilds are really hard to tell apart as sequels.
Oh, why did they do that to us?
Mm.
That was a joke.
Boo! Boo!
Outer
Boo,
Wilds
you're
is,
booing me?
I laughed.
Boo! Get this
Don't even
man
worry
off the
about it.
stage. Bring back Blake. That's a bad joke.
Can we
Horizon
mention
Forbidden
Bayonetta?
West and Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest,
Yeah.
not this. It's kind of the same game.
But a big difference there is Forbidden West is a good game and Zero Dawn is a bad game.
I don't want y'all to
A lot
review
of the
this.
hot
I don't
takes
want you to
going on
review
here.
this show anymore, please.
Horizon
Save your
Zero
reviews.
Dawn.
till
Maybe
next-
review the next one.
I'm sorry, Forbidden West was great though, but Zero Dawn sucked.
Oh, I know
It's a
one.
bad game.
Zero Dawn was very good.
No.
I mean, depending on it's,
Yes.
No.
you could argue the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy.
Okay.
I mean, that's not a bad thing though. Those games rip. But I guess you
Yeah.
can't. But if you're like a Hitman sicko, you know each level obviously, but because they're so distinct. But I think if you're like just a person, a casual observer looking up Hitman games on Steam, I don't think you could tell 1, 2, or 3 apart. Not that that's a bad thing. I love
Well,
those
don't they
games.
they're like merged together?
Yeah, yeah,
right?
like you can-
when you. It's just one game
Yeah.
basically, like with all the levels.
Man, I need to play.
So it
I'm
makes
gonna
sense.
download Hitman on my Steam Deck after this.
Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
I feel like we've
No.
satisfied this question. There are a lot of games that are similar to each other. I feel like that happen to be sequels.
You know what? You know a game we don't talk about enough?
What?
What is that, Blake?
Spider-Man Miles Morales. That game was so good.
That game
Good
rules.
game.
Great game. Yeah.
I mean, the first one did too.
Fantastic game.
Oh, those two games are so good.
You know a game we talk about too much?
what?
What are we talking about, Blake?
The original Spider-Man.
Oh, on the PS2, yeah. Spider.
No,
I get
the
it.
Insomniac
Spider-Man.
one.
Spider-Man 2. We get it, y'all.
No.
It was 2005.
No, that was a good game. The Distillers did the Spider-Man theme song for that, so that's a great
Really?
game. No, the Insomniac Spider-Man. We talk about that one too much. We don't talk about Miles Morales enough. That game was awesome. It was short.
Hot take. They're both
Yeah.
good. Let's get to the next question.
Is that a hot take?
No. Pandas with Bombs asks, "How are y'all doing?"
Terrible. What do you want from me?
Mm.
I've been in better. It's complicated.
Yeah.
I've spent $300 to $400 in the last month and a half on Gundams. How do you think I'm doing? Clearly, I
Man
should.
needs help.
Yeah, clearly I'm going through a crisis.
I bought another
But thank
camera
you.
lens, so
Yeah.
which was the price of like at least 10 Gundams.
Okay, where it's not a pissing contest.
No,
here,
I'm not. Oh, I was
Yeah.
using that. I was just.
Last time you bought
I
anything
wasn't
very
trying to
expensive
piss
recently?
on you. I was trying to compare the prices to what you were talking about.
I
you
think I
dingus.
could build a camera lens at this point as good as I've gotten at
Yeah.
building these Gundams.
I bet you could.
Yeah.
That does translate directly
Yeah.
to
2 pieces of
Absolutely.
glass and some
Yeah.
plastic.
You know what's crazy about these Gundams is like some dude definitely went to school for like 8 years and got like a doctorate in engineering, and he makes those Gundams.
And
I
I'm
sit
sure
and
he
build
loves
them.
it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he does, but like, and then I sit and build them in my apartment while watching like Sea Dog VA game streams. It's like, man, a lot of money went into this thing right here. Here we are. I'm doing
It's a
bad.
great thing.
Pandas with
A
bombs.
gift to the world.
Doing really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird time. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think Wes and I are both very conflicted on how we feel and like a lot of mixed emotions. Someone asked me that. I think Hanson asked me that right after I announced that I was leaving Game Informer, and my initial reaction, and probably still where I am, is like I'm feeling sort of everything all at once. Everything you can imagine, all at the same simultaneous time. It's like, so I'm heartbroken at what happened and all of the layoffs and having to go through that. I am excited to see what's going to happen to my life. I am thrilled that Wes is back and that I could do even the tiniest bit to make sure that he could continue on. I am devastated that I wanted to be a Game Informer for so long and I didn't get the chance to really be one. Um, for as long as I wanted to. I like Stadnik before me, I thought that I was going to be, a decades tenured, Game Informer and have that time to build up rapport with the community and be able to meet all of you in person
Yeah.
at some point. Um, and uh, it's just so many emotions that are really really high and really really low, and sort of uh can't deal with all of it in the middle at some points, and it all comes in waves. And yeah, Wes.
Yeah, it's weird. I On that same note, something I've been talking to like my friends and my wife and my family. The weirdest part about a job like this is that it's more public facing than most jobs.
Mhm.
So, Jill, you having to announce you're leaving, or me announcing I'm being laid off or coming back, like it's very hard to work through those emotions already, but then you also have to like it plays out publicly in front of your peers and other people in this industry and fans and that kind of stuff, or people that like your work. And it's a very strange feeling because I think in most jobs or like career workplaces, like when you leave a job, you just do, and then you do what's next for you. And it's not like this, like it's been weird. And I'm sure there's going to be podcasts or shows or stories about you leaving, Jill. And it's weird knowing that there's a podcast out there about my leaving or John's leaving or Jeff or not or leaving or getting laid off and everything. And it's like such a strange place to be in when you're working through all these emotions and then watching others like discuss it online, which kind of goes back to the whole, is Twitter good for society? Probably not, but yeah, it's been a weird spot. I'm obviously very happy to be back with this team. I hate that it's at the expense of, Jill leaving. That's really the only reason I'm able to come back. There's
Like
a
on
universe
that
out
flip
there.
side too, I'm gonna cut him off for that one because
Yeah.
that is such a high note of my leaving for me, knowing that Wes gets to come back. So it's such a weird thing to hear him say like that he has negative feelings about that, because for me that's one of the most positive things about this.
Yeah.
So that's just a tangle of complicated emotions.
Yeah. There's an alternate universe where none of this shit happened and, we're all working with the people we worked with last month and nobody was worried about layoffs or anything like that. But it's not this universe, unfortunately. But things are better. I mean, on the flip side of what I was talking about with like having such a public facing job, there's benefits to that. And Jill, I'm sure you're seeing all the love today. Like that feels good when you're announcing you're leaving or when you've been laid off. Like it's nice to have all these people rooting for you and throwing support your way and job opportunities and all this kind of stuff. So it's a double-edged sword. Is that the saying? I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to be back with this team that I truly do love working with.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back. I think if I'm being sincere, life has not been great for the last 4 months. My dad's been in the hospital since April 6th. He's still there. So he's almost he's been in there 3.5 months. Still in the ICU, respiratory ICU. Can't speak to him still. I went to visit him today for the first time in a month. It is that part of life is really sucky. All the layoffs are incredibly sucky. Losing Alex, he wasn't leaving because of the layoffs, but having him leave, somebody who I consider a close friend, even though I'm happy for him, and think he's making the right decision for himself, it's still, a factor. But all that being said, like I am always going to wake up and fight for my own happiness despite my circumstance, and I'm going to fight for my happiness in my workplace and hopefully for the happiness of my other coworkers, in small ways, maybe bigger ways, it's just a mindset I'm trying to have. And yeah, it helps me to focus up and keep moving. And yeah, but thanks for checking in with us, Pandas. We appreciate you. Of course, if you don't know, Pandas is one of our community mods on Discord and Twitch. Big help for everyone at Game Informer, especially the past couple weeks, having him Holly Spice, Zachy, I almost said Zachy, Zach Pliggy. Those three have just been instrumental in helping us out, and definitely contributes, personally to my well-being. Yeah, it means a lot having them in our corner. Next question. We've got 3 more. Derek in Discord just says, been following GI since I was a kid. With so many changes going on, I just hope you guys are okay. We've kind of already talked about that, but I just wanted to include that because Derek was, and a lot of other people too, were just wishing us well. I know it's good to hear that sometimes. So thank you, Derek, for giving us those kind words. We do appreciate it. Adam asks more of an inside baseball question about the podcast. If the video version of the podcast is ending / going on hiatus, would you still be able to upload just the audio to YouTube with a GI logo / episode name thrown over? Apologies if I missed that in the last episode. Yeah, that's something I'm going to do for this episode for sure. I don't want people to just suddenly not have the podcast. To be honest, the podcast is really having the way that YouTube works right now. Having a 2-hour podcast on our channel is detrimental to the health of our YouTube channel. And so I've just been trying to figure out, that was before any of this happened. I was already trying to figure out what that looks like, where the podcast is hosted. I've thought about making a new channel for just the GI show so that people who still want to listen on YouTube can go and do that. And yeah, it might just be the logo with audio behind it. If there is interest in that, to be honest, it's going to take me a couple weeks to set that up if there is a lot of interest for that. But in the meantime, yeah, it is going to be audio only on podcast platforms. But know that I'm open to doing that. I'm just got a lot going on, but I have been thinking about that in my head because I don't want to leave. There's a few thousand of you on YouTube who enjoy the show, and I definitely don't want to make listening to the show harder for you guys. So yeah, let me know. Last question comes from C Raider, the Minneapolis Terror, as his Discord name says. 2 questions.
That's a lie. He doesn't live in Minneapolis.
That'd be funny if he did.
Crater, I'm calling you out. I've been to his house. It's not
Oh, okay.
I'm calling you out.
I think I misspoke. It said the Minnesota Menace.
Oh, okay. Apologies. He does live in Minnesota.
Okay. 2 questions. Will Tunic still have a strong advocate for Game of the Year at GI? And more importantly, is Jill going to stream Visage on her last day as well?
No.
No to both of those questions.
Stadnik was a fool. No. I am not going to stream anything terribly scary and upsetting and embarrassing. One hopes. I loved that stream. That was the best stream
It was
ever.
very good.
And I have no idea what I'm planning on doing or if I'm planning on doing anything. But no, I will not be a fool like Stadnik was. As for the advocate for Tunic, you bet people are going to be advocating for Tunic, or else I'm coming after all of you, and probably Wes specifically.
Yeah,
But
I have to. I mean, is Elden Ring my game of the year? Probably, but is Tunic going to be at the top of my list? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. It has to be.
Here's a conversation we have to have, Jill Grodt. Tunic this, Tunic that, but all I'm seeing is neon white.
In bright lights.
well, you need to.
And bright lights.
Well, I can't promise your safety
Oh,
by
God,
the end of the year in
man.
that case.
Wow, very interesting.
Going out on a
Very
threat.
Interesting.
Wow.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I am excited to play Tunic.
Just gotta tell how
I
it is.
downloaded it to my Steam Deck. I played it on stream with Jill and really thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's one of those games that you don't want your first 3 hours of the game to be on a stream, So I feel like I need to restart. So I'm like, I did all that on stream already. But I am going to restart it and give it a full playthrough. It's just a matter of when. But I will be doing that before the end of the year. And hey, who knows? Maybe that'll be my game of the year. I haven't given it a full shot yet, and I really enjoyed what I played. So you never know. But yes, we will be playing that game. We will be doing our jobs, all that fun stuff. Will there be an advocate as passionate as Jill? I mean, I don't think anyone can compete with that level of passion.
Unless I like sneak in somehow.
Yeah.
However,
Just let me into the Discord so I can scream about Tunic.
will there be an advocate of the devilish variety?
Oh.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
You never know.
Neon, what?
It's a mystery, folks. Game of the year, 6 months away.
I'm still trying to figure out what the devilish thing is.
Devil's advocate.
Oh,
Is there a devil
devil's
game I missed?
advocate.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah. An advocate of the devilish variety. I'm not gonna say it was.
Went right over my head.
I'm not gonna say it was a good joke. It was a joke, but it doesn't mean it was good.
Just like this
I like it.
podcast
In
episode.
retrospect, I like it.
It was a podcast episode. Was it good? I don't know. I guess I'll.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Thank you, Jill, for everything you've done for us at GI. Thanks for, in a weird way,
Absolutely.
making space for Wes, even though
Yeah.
you
Thank you for
you
my
made
job.
your decision for the best path for your life, but it did have good effects.
Yeah.
It had sad effects. It had good effects. I'm not tearing up. I just had a weird something got caught in my throat. Maybe a
Y'all,
bug.
don't believe it. There are tears streaming.
It was a
down his
bug.
face.
It was.
He's
it was,
crying.
Like waterfalls.
It was a
this
common
dude's
house
crying.
fly. But yeah, thanks everybody for dealing with what will surely be a weird episode. I'll try to have my act as host more together next week. And yeah, but I appreciate everybody's patience. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. If you're here, listening in the car, listening while you're cooking dinner, just thanks for listening. We really do appreciate you. Be sure to go support the magazine. Go check out the website. Go follow everybody who was on the show today. Welcome Wes back with open arms. Go tell him hello. Whenever, I don't know when his new start date is, because he's currently hasn't started again yet. But it will be soon. Make sure to go read his pieces. I know he's excited to get to work again. So yeah, I think this is the end. Goodbye.